All right, this is a jam-packed video. We have another protest taking way right now in Canada. It's picking up a lot of momentum. We're talking about the farmers. So this European farmers protest that obviously it's in the name, started over in Europe, protesting against the World Economic Forum, right? That moved to India, moved to Spain. It came a little bit to Canada. We haven't heard much about it. It branched out to Netherlands, a whole bunch of different countries. It's now found its way to Quebec, and there is a massive amount of farmers on the highway, and we're going to be showing that along with some other clips here. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I want to encourage everyone to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet already. We're on route to 400,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. And since we're talking about farmers protests, of course, what better time than to talk about these farmers stickers? Stop the weft. You can find the link for this down in the description or the pinned comment below. If that doesn't toot your horn, there are many other stickers in the shop, such as Justin Trudeau in jail. There's also sticker bundles. Link for that, folks, is down in the description. And before I get into it, I want to talk about mis and disinformation. I don't like to use that term. I make fun of that term, but I've just come across the biggest mis and disinformation, and I feel the need to share this with you guys. Can you see that right there? I have a gray hair on my beard somewhere right there. Gray hair. I'm 30 years old. That's the biggest piece of mis and disinformation I've ever seen in my entire life. I got to do something about that. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into this video here. So let's take a look at what CTV has on their YouTube's account. As you can see, that looks like a tractor, but it's not. There is no coverage in the past 8, 10, 12 hours about any of the farmers' protests, just so you know. And that is exactly why people are fed up with mainstream media and the liberals, because it reflects heavily in the polls. You have 170 seats that you need for a majority. The Conservatives are sitting at 206 seats projected, bottom line 176, which would still put them above the majority threshold. 99% likely to win the most seats, 98% likely to win a majority, 2% likely to win a minority government. And you can even find similar polls on on Twitter. You have Polling Canada that says Justin Trudeau approval rating, 59% disapprove, 35% approve. And yeah, I mean, when you look at the comments, it's not looking good for Justin Trudeau. Let's take a look at what Pierre Poilievre has to say here before we get into the farmers stuff. It's no joke. They're raising taxes to fight climate change and to fix the weather.
Plan will axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. Meanwhile, the NDP Liberal Prime Minister has raised taxes on gas, heat, and groceries, raised taxes on paychecks, raised income taxes on middle class and lower income Canadians, raised taxes on small businesses. He keeps raising taxes. It's enough to drive a man to drink. Yeah. But he wants to tax that too. Yeah. On April 1st, another 5% increase on beer, wine, and spirits that will kill jobs for those workers and raise costs on consumers. Will he have the humanity to let someone have a drink in peace?
No, he will not. And you know what? Everybody is fed up, which is why you're seeing now farmers are standing up to this. Let's take a look at what we've got here. You've got Daisy Media on Twitter, on X, saying farmers on the move in Rimouski, which is, I guess, in Quebec. It sure is.
Yes, sir! Hey, lâchez rien, la gang! Je vous adore! Woohoo! Yes, sir!
Look at that, man. The protests don't end, folks. They will not end, and you're going to see this increase more and more the closer we get to election time. This is a great clip here. You guys are going to love this. Canadian farmers are standing up in Rimouski, Quebec. Look at that long lineup, man. That's insane. Look at all the farmers. Wow. That's incredible. And he goes even further back, eh? This is what happens, man, when you piss people off. They fight back. They fight back, and you know what's going to happen when the farmers are at the point where they are now, and they're saying, you know what, we don't want a part of this. We're going to protest everything, and you're just not going to get your food. We're not going to get food. I don't think the government realizes. It's embarrassing. We need somebody who can actually, you know, be a middleman and say, you know what, here's what you need. We're going to stop the regulations. We're going to cut the red tape, and we're going to do what you guys, the professionals, say that we should be doing. You have suits and ties in Ottawa that are trying to dictate rules, regulations, and comply with the World Economic Forum's ridiculous mandates and goals, and it's just not attainable. And the people doing the work are saying, no, it's not going to work. You can't force us to work. That's the beautiful thing about where we live is you can't force us to work. All right. Share, says Daisy Media. You guys should go follow him on X if you haven't yet already.
All right.
Look at that lineup, man. Holy
Yes,
smokes.
sir. Envoyez. Partagez tout le monde. Share, everyone. Share.
Holy smokes, folks. And this is just the beginning. This just started right now. It's not like this protest in Quebec has been going on for a very long time. This has just right now in the past 12 hours, that's when it's kind of begun. So you're going to want to stick around. You're going to want to subscribe. You're going to want to turn post notifications on because there will be more updates involving this and you're not going to want to miss it. We've got some more clips, so don't worry. Don't go anywhere just yet. We will not comply. Canadian farmers are standing up in Quebec.
Keep your money, I would rather have.
I'm going to mute that. Look how long of a lineup that is. You got people repping the Quebec flag, the Canadian flag. You've got semis, lots and lots and lots of tractors. Holy smokes. And this just isn't going to end. This is going to pick up more steam. And if it's not the farmers, it's going to be the people again. And if it's not the people, it's going to be trucks. And if it's not the trucks, it'll be the farmers and the people. And if it's not the farmers and the people, it'll be the trucks and the farmers. And if it's not the trucks and the farmers, it'll be the trucks and the people and the farmers. It's just, you're never going to be able to stop Canadians from voicing their opinions about our government. You can try, but we will not comply. That's a beautiful thing, eh? Wow. All decked out and everything. Very organized, too. I'm surprised that this actually happened without me even being in the loop about it. Either it's been on the down low or maybe I've been contacted about it. I just haven't been aware. But it's incredible that it's not like a couple of people or a dozen people. There's hundreds of people involved in these protests, hundreds of tractors out there. And there's going to be potentially even thousands that join over the course of the weekend. We have some more clips here, folks. But before I share it, I kind of want to know what you guys think about it. Are you pro these protests? Do you like them? Do you think that it's unnecessary? Do you support the World Economic Forum, or are you against it? Please let me know down in the comments below. All right, let's take a look at this clip. Look at that. It's all peaceful. It's all well organized. awesome. And this is kind of more the prepper side of me. If you guys aren't really stocked up on food or goods or whatever it is, and you don't have a surplus of supplies, medical supplies, even just any sort of rations, in case this gets out of hand, in case this continues to the point where there's actually a shortage of food, there's a shortage of distribution, whatever the case may be, make sure that you, your family, are prepared for that. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's inevitable, but it very well could happen. It seems like the more these protests kind of snowball, the more we're at risk of that happening. And that's the point that the farmers are trying to prove is, look, you can't force us to comply with these ridiculous, carbon neutral, net negative, or whatever the hell they're trying to do mandates. That is just not possible. You have to let farmers do their job. Without farmers, there is no food, and the point will be understood by the government, and we're going to feel the effects. So why not prepare right now instead of being angry at the farmers, right? Of course, we support protests against the government, mandates, against the World Economic Forum. So when, shit hits the fan, quite literally, you're going to want to make sure that you guys are prepared. And now let's take a look at what CTV panel has to say, that most Canadians won't consider voting Liberal. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. I wonder why.
Yeah, Tom, stop the self-inflicted wounds and right the ship. But, it feels like they are running out of racetrack here.
Well, I agree with both of my colleagues. When Christy says that the problem, if you look at the numbers deeply the past few months, it is mostly about Trudeau. It's almost as if Canadians are saying, the Liberal brand is not over, but they're trying to say to Mr. Trudeau, you just can't be there anymore. And Trudeau doesn't listen to what John Tory just said, because Trudeau, in the little clip that we had, he said it twice. We will continue. We will continue. And what Canadians have been trying to tell him is, we don't like what you've done. We don't like what you've done. We don't think you did well on a lot of key things with affordability, with housing. Don't keep telling us that you're going to continue. That only makes it worse. So that's the new narrative that John was talking about. They haven't created one, and I don't think they're going to be able to create a new narrative or a new tone with Justin Trudeau. It is that tone indeed, that dulcet tone where he's talking to a slow child and he's explaining to Canadians why he's right and they're wrong and he's going to continue. I think the Canadians have had enough of that, and I think that's why Nanos' numbers are showing what they're showing now. Yes, we're perhaps a year away from the election, but if Trudeau's going to be responsible, and I believe he is, he's going to give himself maybe until June, take a measure of the situation and say he's got to pull the plug by the end of the summer. He wants to give his party time to organize and give any new leader a few months anyway to get familiar with the job and try to sell their position to Canadian voting public.
Christy, we're talking a little bit about a possible change and really trying to sort of put a different face on this. Do you think that's even possible with the budget? I know we're leading up to it, we're hearing a little bit about how they want to really sort of focus on restraint. We're hearing from Defense that they're trying to trim the budgets, and all around you've heard also from Anita Anand, the president of the Treasury Board, talking about looking for that type of savings. Is it possible, do you think, with one budget, and then they'll have a second one that'll come out the year following, and that'll likely be the election budget, but do you think in that time it is possible to really try and put a different face on this government and try and change the narrative around it?
Well, it's kind of an unusual situation in that, what I'm hearing from people across the country is not everybody really likes the way that Pierre Poilievre presents. He comes across as aggressive and angry and doctrinaire often, and there are
I don't know about that. I don't think there's a majority amount of people that are saying that. And I don't think I've ever once been under the impression that Pierre Poilievre comes across as angry or aggressive. He's very objective and to the point. Maybe I have a bias that I'm overlooking, but maybe down in the comments, let me know what you guys think. Has Pierre Poilievre ever come across as aggressive or angry to you guys? Because I just very strongly disagree with that.
A lot of people who are, who have traditionally voted Liberal, they're fed up with Trudeau. They don't know what to do. So it literally could be, the narrative could change when there's a new face on the party, when there's a new person leading it. And I think that in itself really brings something a sense of change. I don't think it's any secret to most viewers of your show, Mike, that people know Justin Trudeau sets this tone in almost all the decisions of this highly centralized government. I do think that getting a new face on it and then giving ministers an opportunity to actually make decisions might mean that you end up with a little more creativity around the table too. So a year and a half is a long time. And I think yes, and the answer to your question for all those reasons, I think is yes.
You know what? You know who else it's a long time for, Mike? Is Pierre Poilievre. I mean, it's a long time to have a 20% lead, and he's had it now for a while. But I was listening to Nick Nanos' podcast on this very poll we're talking about. And, you know, he played a clip that was, to me, a gross overreach where he was just viciously talking about Justin Trudeau as a racist. And, you know, he was raising it in the context of the blackface thing. And I don't think most Canadians believe that today, in this day and age, as Prime Minister, that Justin Trudeau is a racist. And I think, you know, the kind of thing, that's one instance where Pierre Poilievre might have been better to breathe through his nose and not say anything about that. And if he says things like that, and those may not be categorized as mistakes, but they're unnecessary things to say when you have a 20-point lead, that lead can start to evaporate. It doesn't take long. 5 points either way, and suddenly the lead is 10, not 20. And then you have the question of momentum that follows that.
Tom, I got last 30 seconds I can give to you on this.
Keep an eye on Quebec. 78 seats in play, very fickle, gone from massive majority for Mulroney's Conservatives to big majority for the Bloc to big majority for the NDP, that Jack Layton and I were able to get 59 seats. So that is going to be a key to this election. Pierre Poilievre's charms, to reinforce what John just said, are lost on the majority of Quebecers. Are they going to do, as they've often done in the past, simply say, who's going to win this thing? Okay, we're going there. And that would mean towards the Conservatives, if we believe the polls. Or are they going to say, we'll do anything we can to block this guy and vote massively back for the Liberals as they've done in the past? Keep an eye on that.
That's an interesting take, that Pierre Poilievre could actually shoot his own foot, basically, by saying things that he shouldn't necessarily, or there's no immediate need to say. I don't know where I stand on that. I think that Pierre is only getting more and more popular. But again, it is quite early before the next election. And so there is room, and this isn't something I've put much thought into because of my own bias, but there is a significant amount of room in terms of time to actually have those controversies by saying the wrong thing or by saying something that that he shouldn't have instead of just staying silent. There's more room for error. The margin for error is maximized right now because you're 18 months away from the next scheduled federal election. And so I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you think Pierre's going to go the distance? Do you think that something will happen between now and then, either that he's done himself or something arises, whatever the case may be? I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Don't get me wrong. I think that Pierre will and can go the distance. It's just a matter of tactics, right? You got 18 months of chess to play here. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, I'd love to know, again, what you guys think down below in the comments. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet already. It does really help grow the channel, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.